Hi, I'm Tucker,
And I'm Sammy.
and this is English After Dark. Do you guys remember where you were on this day, or depending on where you are, September 11th of 2001? It was one of the worst days in American history, and I was 8 years old at the time, but I remember exactly where, and maybe not the exact time, but I know it was in the morning, uh, around like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, I believe, when my dad called my mom. I was homeschooled at the time, and he told her to turn on the news. And then me and my brothers all gathered around the TV and watched as we just like saw these buildings, and then they were reporting about showing the replay of these planes crashing into these buildings. And I didn't really fully comprehend it at the time, but it was something that you can never forget. That's for sure. And so, what about you? Do you remember where you were and
Yeah.
when this happened?
Yes, I definitely do. It was we were in school, and I think we were close in time zones. I mean Manaus time. Do you remember?
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're just 1 hour
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't remember the time exactly, but I know it was like morning, and we were in our mid-morning snack break. And at that time, we would always be watching. Every kid would be watching the cafeteria, Dragon Ball Z. So we were having greatest time of our lives, and then the cartoon was interrupted. Anime was interrupted, and they started playing exact same thing. I imagine they were playing all over the world. I imagine, and everyone was just so annoyed. Like, why did they stop our cartoon? What's going on? And then as we got home a little later that day, we would, you know, kind of get the news from our parents. I mean, that's what happened to us. And I didn't know anyone in the US at the time, but of course, it was pretty horrifying to everybody watching it, because I remember one of the reporters on TV. They were talking about the stuff happening, and they got in camera the second building like coming down. So it was pretty scary. And at the time we didn't really know what that meant as kids, but we would get like all sorts of theories and horror stories and things like that.
And then, of course, now the way we fly, the way we travel from the U.S. to and pretty much anywhere, I think, has been changed almost solely because of that. Because I don't really remember what it was like flying that well when I was 7, but I know from other people that it was much easier to go through an airport with security, and obviously the lines weren't nearly as backed up. The process was quicker and easier. So yeah, it's so weird to think about. But anyway, we just wanted to kind of like say a little something about that, since it was, I mean, as far as I know, the worst day in American history. It is definitely while we've been alive, while I've been alive. And now we're gonna go on to we're gonna go on to maybe a little happier or just less sad topics. Actually, today I was reading. I go over sometimes news articles with some of my students, and there's always a few interesting things that I didn't know about before. And there is an airline that runs between Turkey and I believe the flight goes between Turkey and Denmark. The airline is a Turkish/Danish airline, and they are doing.
Is that the airline that had to go back to where they were coming from because of someone having bad diarrhea?
Oh wow, no,
Okay.
this is not that one. This is an airline that's proposing a kid-free zone, or they're doing kid-free zones.
Okay, yeah. I think I saw something like that today too.
Okay, so someone might have had diarrhea on the plane, but that might have had something to do with.
Some other airline.
Yeah, but it was interesting because my student was asking me what I thought, because we're gonna have to fly with Joanna soon, and she's gonna be 14 months when we fly, and we have to take 6 flights. We're gonna be flying for like 20 something hours with her, And I'm curious because I haven't asked Sammy, but I think it's a great idea. I wouldn't mind at all
I would
being.
pay for that if I did not have kids
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah, some peace of mind and you know, some peace and quiet in a flight, definitely.
But also having a child, I don't mind being back with the other people who have children,
Yeah.
while the other people can have their peace and quiet. I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, of course, oh, flying looks glamorous and everything, but it's just public transportation. It's like a bus that is taking you from point A to point B. So you can't really expect a lot of, um, VIP treatment unless you pay for it. So, you know, it's kind of it's expected. Is expected? Yes. If you see a kid coming in the plane, you're like, oh wow, there's gonna be crying. There's gonna be
Yeah,
tantrums.
but if you don't
And
have a child, your first thought
no,
is, I hope that that child does not sit next
yes,
to
of
me.
course, yes, and it's normal. But what I'm saying is just like it's very smart of that company to do that because I am pretty sure a lot of people are gonna be competing for those seats.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think about it didn't mention how much they charged extra, if they charge extra. But for people that want and need to get work done on a flight, I think it's a good idea.
Oh yeah,
So
it
anyway,
is.
if you guys see a flight that offers free, uh, the kid free zone, or like business class, now it's gonna be children free class. Are you going to take it?
I would if I didn't have
Well,
to.
she can't. Neither can I.
Definitely, I do think it's like well, if you can do something to make your trip more pleasant, please do. But try to be a little what is the word um understanding. I wouldn't say understanding, but just like well understand that those parents are not happy that their kid is crying or throwing a tantrum. They would also like peace and quiet, but
Yeah, and believe me, before Joanna was born, I thought I will never travel with a child under 3 or 4, because my brother did it with his kids. Both of my older brothers have had to do it with their children, and they told me stories like they
no
did
one
not
would.
have fun. Yeah, it was miserable. Like one of my brothers, his daughter, she's very hot and cold, we say, because she's in a great mood and then a very bad mood right after. But he said she cried almost the entire way. Like they flew to Greece, and she cried almost the
Wow.
whole way there, and they had to take a lot of flights. And I thought, I
Oh
won't ever
man.
do that. I will never take, and now I have to. So just so you know, a lot of people that have those babies on the flights, we don't want to have our. We would gladly teleport or have fly private if we could afford it, but most of us can't. So
Yeah, wow.
anyway,
And sometimes staying home and not doing the flight is not an option.
yeah, it's
So,
not an option when you have to move, or we could drive. It would just take about 3 months to drive from where we live to the United States. Uh, but
a little
anyway,
not feasible. So,
how about this news with I guess it's been ongoing, but with the AI and their these actors that are protesting, not just actors, writers that are protesting.
writers too?
Yeah, because it affects them.
Wow. Well, I didn't know
I
about the
think it
writers,
affects
but
the writers almost equally, as far as I know.
it was actually a student of mine that was telling me about it. It's amazing. We get most of
Oh
our
yeah,
information from our students.
thank you
But
guys.
yeah. But so the thing is, I'm just going to go straight to it. It's basically like a bunch of actors were not promoting their movies anymore, like or they were on on sort of a strike because of this noise that Hollywood is making, or Hollywood and Netflix. I'm not sure about like just paying them a small like amount and then still using their faces and voices, but not really using them. So basically, like paying you for the rights, a small amount, and then whatever money I get from it, it's just gonna be for me. And
And some of it was even that these companies weren't even using the consent of the actors or actresses. They were just like using them
yeah,
in these. I don't even know how. And then the writers, of course, are mad because they're gonna, if the AI, if they're using something like ChatGPT to write these scripts or whatever, then they're worried they're not going to get their names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about the writers, but for the actors and actresses, I just don't know how realistic that would be. Like,
Oh, they're
how
using
good
this.
quality would that be, you know?
I don't know, but these deep fakes technology that they use is so. I think it is so creepy. So I don't fully understand this deep fake technology, but I know that you can. I've seen it where it's like a demonstration where it made someone say something that they didn't say. Basically, like someone was giving a speech and they were talking about, I have no idea, like something like some political
Oh,
issue,
they manipulate it.
and they just typed in something and then that person said, and it sounds like they're speaking.
And it
So
looks like they're saying the words, like if you look at their mouths moving.
yeah, and they can do this now for movies, and I'm not exactly sure what they're doing, but I'm pretty sure it's like to recreate like like I watched a video about Harrison Ford was talking about how creepy it was because they were like trying to make him younger. Like some of it was used for it's in a cool way to like do a throwback scene from like 50 years ago, so they can like do all of this
Yeah.
lighting and all of these things, this touch up stuff, and it makes him look exactly like.
Apparently they're gonna do the same thing for Stranger Things next season. They're gonna use AI to make them look younger too. That's what I read. It was just like a small thing. But I know that there is an episode, I haven't watched it. So the same student that told me about this AI situation told me there is an episode on what is that show? Mirror,
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Yes, that with that actress Selma
Selma Hayek.
Hayek. Yes, Selma Hayek. That it actually goes over this topic about of AI and replacing actors and things like that. I'm not sure if that's the content of it, but she says that it looks real and in a creepy way, it looks really good. So like they could actually do it.
And that's pretty much yeah, that's why we don't watch Black Mirror in our
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
It's too
that's
creepy
just.
for us.
Well, what do you think about it? About AI just taking over?
I hate it. I really thought not even like that probably a few months ago, I thought the one industry where you can't really use AI to replace it is acting. I thought there's no way you can replace. Nobody would want to do that, and then lo and behold, I I was wrong. They are doing everything they can to make AI. So I appreciate technology, but this side of artificial intelligence. We keep saying AI. Obviously, it's artificial intelligence. I hate it. I think it ruins everything. It ruins these aspects. Like
It makes humanity a little less human, I think, in some
yeah,
aspects. I mean, of course, we have to give it credit for bringing all the like making our lives easier.
oh yeah, the
In a way.
conveniences.
Yes, the conveniences. Thank you. Like as a teacher, we were like as ChatGPT was like becoming a thing in the beginning of the year. A lot of teachers were like, "Oh wow, we're so scared. It's gonna take over our jobs and things like that." But and it can, in certain aspects. But apparently, humans are just gonna have to be more creative and like I don't know, smarter than yeah.
Yeah, or use it to our advantage. Yeah, I like it for obviously some things, but yeah, for the movie industry, I'm happy to watch an old '90s movie if they're gonna start using AI. Me and
Yeah,
Sammy and I
definitely.
prefer older movies.
Charles
Yeah,
Chaplin.
okay, not that old, but we do pre like 2020, 2015, where yeah, we like older movies. A little more authenticity in them, better storytelling. Anyway, that's what it is. AI's been doing the storytelling lately, and it's terrible.
Yeah, I think that's the reason that professional, like the storyteller, is being more and more valuable. Like if a person can really be a good storyteller, they're gonna be priceless in a few years, I
Yeah,
think,
because
because
man, Netflix has been just absolutely tanking with their
wow.
stories.
Yeah. Well, there is a story that is that Japanese guy eating that sushi.
I don't know if it was the prime minister of Japan, but yeah, a political figure eating
Yeah,
the fish
I
from the
just
nuclear from Fukushima.
yeah. It's just like I'm scrolling down my Instagram and then I see like this picture of this guy eating sushi. It's like, okay, maybe I want sushi later. Then I keep seeing this picture. I think I've seen the same picture like about 15 times now. It's like, okay, what's going on? And then I read a little bit about it, and it's like they're eating this fish that is in this water that has been treated or something.
Well, it was nuclear. It was
It was
where the nuclear water spilled, and then it's treated, and he was
it was
showing that it's safe to eat because they're dumping this nuclear wastewater from this plant that was hit by a tsunami in
oh yeah,
2011.
yeah. I
So
remember that.
there was a lot of criticism, and so he was doing it as a way to show, oh, there's nothing wrong with it.
I wonder if it's okay, because
Yeah.
I would not eat that thing.
I wouldn't either. I actually had a student who was working at Fukushima like 7 months ago. I wasn't a long-term student. I only had a few classes with this student, but she was the one who told me about them dumping the water. And I kind of just thought it was a joke. I didn't really take, not a joke, but I didn't take it seriously. And then,
I think I remember when you told me. It sounded to me like a sci-fi thing.
yeah.
I did not give it a second thought.
And then, of course, she told me, oh, they're treating the water and all this things. And then I kind of just forgot about it until a student of mine, Emma from Shenzhen, thank you. Emma always keeps me informed about world news, at least how it relates to China. And she was like, oh, they're dumping the water. This was like 2 weeks ago. So it would have been 2.5 weeks ago, right before August. I know they dumped it, I think, August 24th. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. And then,
So where did they dump it in?
well, I don't know. I mean, they're dumping it in Fukushima because that's where the water is. So they say apparently the water is overflowing from these tanks. They have over 1 million, it's like 1.3 million metric tons. I don't even know how to measure that. That's a lot of contaminated water. And so they've treated it, and according to some of the scientists, the treatment has
Worked.
removed like the radioactive
So they can drink that water now.
well, that's what they say. So,
I wonder what people from Fukushima think about it.
well, the fishermen don't like it. They hate it because China banned all, and I think South Korea has done the same.
But how does it affect these countries? Like, okay, I know
Well,
they're
the
dumping
water,
it in Fukushima, but
the water is going. The currents take the water there.
oh, they're dumping it in the ocean.
Yeah,
Okay,
so they're dumping it into the ocean. Yeah, if they were dumping it into a lake
I don't know. Yeah,
in Japan, they probably wouldn't care. But yeah, they're dumping it into the ocean, and then China has banned all seafood products,
Wow.
and they're the biggest. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Very controversial subject. We don't.
Yeah, it was just something that caught my eye because of that. It was a weird story.
And
Some
it's-
guy eating sushi, and
Yeah, and then I actually we found a video. Emma and I we were doing a deep dive into this because I knew very little about this, and so there was a video of like one of the health ministers of Japan in 2011 drinking the water from the site, and I looked him up. I couldn't find anything, and then I found out that he had kind of disappeared into obscurity in 2015, and then in 2020 he died at some remote island in the middle of the Pacific of some really
that's not suspicious.
scary cancer. So anyway, I sincerely hope that the scientists that tested this water that said that it's safe and there's nothing to worry about. I hope that this doesn't affect the seafood we love. I think Japanese food is probably our favorite food to eat when we go out.
I think it's not gonna affect food in Brazil though.
No, not for a long time at least.
Yeah, hopefully.
But it will eventually.
True.
Because
It's
even
all
though
connected.
the oceans might be separated up north there, but man, down south they're all connected. So, and since I don't really follow the news that closely, I will have Yoichi in Fukuoka be my my reporter on the ground. and let me know any new updates and what's going on. Since he
I
eats so
knows.
much seafood all over Japan, I feel like he's probably one of the best resources to have. So, anyway, on a less controversial, well, actually still controversial, but happier note, there's a new series coming out that I think it sounds really cool.
What is it?
Gumra in Istanbul told me about it, and after that, I watched the trailer. It's called Ataturk. I think I know I'm probably not saying
It's
that right.
Turkish.
It's a Turkish show, yeah, about Mustafa Ataturk. Yeah, Mustafa Ataturk, and I don't know much, but I know that he was responsible, according to Gumra and a few other students, and from what I saw, for secularizing Turkey and making it more European. And he was apparently a great man.
Oh,
And
it's a historical
yeah,
show? Okay.
yeah, that dates back to the late 19th and early 20th century.
And why is it controversial?
I have no idea. Just because Disney probably wants to make everything controversial. If
Oh, is it being made by Disney?
no, Disney was going to be the one who streamed it, but they decided to drop it, and then apparently a lot of Turkish people got upset, and now someone else will stream it, and it will probably be more successful.
So they got upset because the show was being canceled?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
not because of just because with Disney, because Disney is still fairly new, and apparently the streaming service like Disney is still new in Turkey, and then there's this really well done show, historical show about Turkey, and Disney decides to. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I didn't even care to look into it. I just don't like Disney, so I thought that it's probably a win for this show that Disney is not broadcasting it.
Oh, maybe it's gonna be broadcast by Netflix.
That's true. Maybe Netflix will pick it up. I have not seen.
They did that one show, The Gift. That was a good one.
Yeah,
The Turkish show.
that's the only Turkish show we've seen.
Yeah.
But wow, it was extremely
A lot of
interesting.
information.
Yeah, a lot of a lot of mystery.
Yeah.
I like the first season and the second season better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about this. I feel like I want to watch. I don't know. The history of Turkey is so interesting to me. Sometimes I just pick people's brains, like students, and have them teach me about like the Ottoman Empire and the Byzantine Empire and stuff. I want to know more.
So cultured.
It's fun.
It is. I mean,
I like it. So anyway, we're gonna end with that. So we hope you guys got a little bit of information out of this, and we're gonna leave we're going to leave below in a document the most important words and phrases and idioms from this episode. We hope you guys got something from this. Maybe you'll watch movies differently now when you see these characters that might not seem completely real. And if you fly from Turkey to Denmark, maybe you can have a kid-free flight or fly in the kid-free zone. And that is going to do it for us. We will see you guys in the next episode.
bye.